What in the name of the Holy God Emperor are you people doing to me? Like, seriously, what in the name of the Omnissiah is this thing? Well, we're about to find out, so buckle up because where we're going, we're not going to need any physics or any pesky laws about child soldiers. Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Tanker's View with me, your average tanker, Tony. So I was perusing the comment section of the Land Raider video, and a particular comment caught my eye. Also, to the fella asking about the Eldari hover tanks, yes, they're coming, dude. Just I need a little bit more time to look into the lore because alien tanks require just a bit more nuance than human tanks. But the comment I'm referring to is the one about the baby Magnum. Not gonna lie, I was expecting something along the lines of Girls in Panzer. I was wrong. Instead, I'm greeted with something that resembles the Technodrome from TMNT. I honestly expected this thing to be piloted by a disembodied brain or some kind of anime cyborg, not a blonde little 14-year-old girl. As in a great many things, I was wrong.
No shit.
But you know it's not wrong. Hitting that subscribe button, liking the video, and also my content is now on Odyssey and Rumble, if that's your main way of watching things. Also, recently I've started a Patreon, and where you're going to get access to videos early, your name in the credits of each video, and a personalized shout out, and polls to pick subjects and access to the Discord. Anyways, guys, it would really help me out if you would join, but only if you're in a position to, please. You're all legends, and as always, thank you again for watching. Anyways, with my shameless e-begging out of the way, we were discussing the baby Magnum, an oversized ball on a tripod with more guns than the average South Texas household. And well, there's a lot to go over with this. So I'll start by saying I've not read the manga, and I've only seen little snippets of the anime. I'm not a lore master by any stretch. I'm an arse with a VTube avatar.
Shut the fuck up, no one cares.
So don't think anything I say too seriously because I sure don't. So grab your waifu body pillows, boys and girls, and let's commence.
No. Wait.
Standing at 165 feet tall, somewhere around 250 feet in length, and about 150 feet wide if you look at it, kind of squint and tilt your head sideways at it. Its most distinguishing features is the 7 main guns in a fan configuration with on armatures attached to the rear end of the unit, and more nipple guns than a Slaneshi war host.
Stop it. Get some help.
It rides on a tripod which levitates the whole unit a few millimeters off the ground using static electricity, and then it propels this thing using a laser.
I have several questions.
To explode the atmosphere in between the foot and the ground, moving this thing up to 330 freedom units per hour, or 530 kilometers per hour, if you are, of the metric mind. That's right, this thing will move around using the power of guns and explosions. If that's not as American as apple pie and excessive military budgets, I really don't know what to tell you. Oh, now damned if I can find out what the armor of this thing is even made of, but given the few clips I've seen of this thing in combat, I'm left feeling it might be some kind of Chabum armor given its need to dissipate heat and defend against kinetic force. So for the sake of argument, I'm going to call it a ceramic steel composite. The thickness is 2 centimeters times 500 layers, which works out to 2 meters or 6.5 feet of armor. I really hope I'm lowballing that because that's pathetic for an object of this size. That would struggle against any larger missile or large bore artillery. I don't know if that's 2 meters across the entirety of the machine or just the balls. For the sake of argument, given its size, I'm going to assume it is entirely covered. Now, granted, unless you strike a spherical object exactly 90 degrees, you're going to face varying degrees of armor slanting. And if you exceed a certain angle, and depending on the circumference, you very well could end up expending all the penetrative power of the round while doing nothing but gouging a little furrow in the armor. Now, given the caliber of weapons these machines face, 2 meters just seems woefully inadequate, given especially how many stress points are mounted throughout the hull of this thing. Now, if y'all wonder what I mean by stress points, all the secondary weapons festooned all over this thing, making it the world's spiciest koosh ball is what I'm talking about. Every one of those is a potential weak point in the armor configuration. I say this because clearly the weapons will not be made of the same material as the armor. There'll be obvious gaps in between the operating mechanics of the weapon and the armor, plus any additional capacitors or munitions to act as secondary detonation devices. Bullets and penetrators have a way of finding gaps. One good shot will easily blow a nice big hole in your probably very likely big stressed hull, peeling it open like a tin can. Anytime you remove sections from the protective plate, you're going to add stress points in the armor's ability to absorb and dissipate the stress. And all those gun ports may just wind up being nice big cracking points. And moving on to the main gun situation here, there's also a lot to unpack. It's not that it's lacking in its guns, unlike common sense, Geneva Convention adherence, or actually any engineering expertise. So for the sake of even where to start, I'm going to go from the legs upwards. First, the anti-personnel lasers on the knees are multifaceted laser emitters that look like warts that have got a venereal disease. Let's just face it. They're ugly looking.
Ouch, baby. Very ouch.
But they fire coherent laser beams in an arc-shaped fan, acting as the lower quadrant CWIS of the machine. Fair enough, I can understand why they need to be there, but given the sheer size of the machine, and the limited traverse of the secondary armament in this case. Now, its secondary armament is dozens of coil guns spread out in 15 banks, providing various hemispherical arcs of covering fire. This is where I'm starting to wonder how big the mountain of cocaine was the artists were snorting prior to coming up with this.
Wish I could jump in there and roll around in all that cascading white powder. Yeah, just get high on all of life's splendor. God, I love cocaine.
Notice the barrel length and their proximity to one another in each bank. You've effectively turned what could be half a dozen independent CWIS guns into effectively nothing better than one with very limited arcs of fire on the flanks due to the primary weapons being in the way. Now, because of the barrel length, they will interfere with each other's traversing, and a problem we call crossing the streams. Not cash money, and it seems like a pretty big glaring fucking problem they didn't seem to think about. And finally, we're going to come to the main armament of this modern art masterpiece. 7 75-meter long multi-type cannons operating in rail, coil, or plasma. Its plasma guns are the most potent, but the shortest range. Realistically, again, I don't even know where to begin, because I'm going to maybe start why in the name of Coney 2012 they decided to rifle the barrel of a gun that by definition requires smoothbore on all 3 counts.
Why? 'Cause fuck 'em, that's why.
Artistic license maybe, but my gods, man, you're making anime. It's going to be picked over in the finest detail by weebs all over the world. Get your shit together. First major flaw out of the way. Next is the railgun and coil gun aspect of these cannons. Which one is it? Because both require massive differences in the engineering of the barrels to accelerate those spicy sushi rolls. It's a little more complicated than just rotating out the chamber like this anime would have you believe can just change the firing modes. I would sincerely wonder what was smoked prior to this revelation, but I am reasonably sure I can smell the business end of that red hot crack pipe from here.
I get it.
I don't get it.
Now, the plasma gun is allegedly the most powerful weapon. It's also the shortest range at 3 to 4 kilometers. This falls well short of the 17 to 25 kilometer horizon sightline it would have in other direct firing modes due to the nature of ballistic railgun rounds.
I'm tired, boss.
But carrying on with this, the main guns, due to their positions, are only capable of traversing marginally or just elevating themselves, which is absolutely brained in a manner that's completely indescribable and indefensible. Because why would you want to expose your entire silhouette to fire if you don't have to? Finally, let's talk about the junk in the trunk of this thing. What is it with sci-fi franchises putting giant obvious shoot here weak points on Titan-sized equipment. Not only are the armatures holding up your main guns laughably exposed, but you have a massive concave target on your back with your reactor as the bullseye. With minimum PDF cannons and coverage in the rear, this seems like a 50-meter wide smoke tentacle cornholing waiting to happen. But again, based on what we know about Japanese cartoons, that might be the pixelated intent.
Nope, stop talking, go to jail.
So, is this thing a tank? No. Not even by the most liberal definition possible. I wouldn't even call it a spag because of its zero ability to engage in direct fire. This is probably anime's most ridiculous gun truck ever. If you don't know what a gun truck is, it's exactly what it sounds like. When there isn't enough heavy ass around to escort supply convoys, the grunts get doing what they do best and improvise. They made some armored trucks covered in guns. All of the guns. Every gun they could find. There's even one allegedly that had a set of autocannons that they lifted from a naval warship. Why, be you ask? Because the people in need of supply need to get you your shit. They'll make it happen. It's not like they can call off a resupply because of a little bit of enemy contact. Troops need MREs to bitch about and ammunition to give to the enemy, pointy end first. Anyways, I've rambled enough about this Japanified technodrome. So I'm going to rate it 4 T-balls out of 7 child soldiers. Anywho, if you've made it this far, you are an absolute legend. Again, thank you all for watching. I hope I've earned your subscription today. Maybe even a thumbs up. Again, you're all amazing. Thank you. I'll see you all next time.